The mysterious stranger, in the middle of a busy city, life seemed to move faster than ever. People rushed through the streets, focused on their own tasks, lost in their thoughts. The city was filled with sounds, the honking of cars, the chatter of pedestrians, the noise of construction workers high above. But among all the noise, no one noticed her. She was a stranger, someone no one had ever seen before. She walked through the crowds unnoticed, her face hidden beneath a worn hood and ragged clothes. She was different, but no one knew how. Her skin was pale, almost glowing in the shadows of the busy streets. Her eyes, however, stood out, bright and curious, scanning the world around her like someone who had never seen it before. Her movements were cautious yet confident, as if she knew exactly where she was going, but was careful not to draw attention. She was an alien, but in a city full of busy people, no one paid her any mind. Her stomach growled, reminding her that she hadn't eaten in hours. She found a quiet alley and sat on a broken crate watching the people pass by. They ignored her completely, unaware of the stranger sitting just a few feet away. She didn't mind. She had grown used to it over the years. People didn't care about someone like her. They didn't care about anyone on the streets. She had no name, no home, no place to belong. She was just another lost soul, a stranger in a strange world. Yet there was something about her. Something that felt different, something that felt important. She wasn't just a survivor. She was someone with a purpose. But what that purpose was, she had no idea. She had been wandering the streets for as long as she could remember, always searching for something, but never finding it. The city felt like a maze, its streets twisting and turning, leading to dead ends and unknown places. She had learned to navigate the maze, to blend in with the shadows, to survive. But today was different. Today something had changed. She couldn't explain it, but she could feel it in the air. There was a new energy, a sense of excitement, as if the universe itself was guiding her toward something important. As she sat in the alley, she noticed a man walking down the street. He was dressed in a sharp suit, carrying a briefcase, his face set in a serious expression. He looked important, like someone who had everything under control. But there was something off about him. He seemed distracted, as if his mind was somewhere else. He didn't notice the woman sitting in the alley, but the alien girl watched him closely. He walked past her, then stopped suddenly, as if something had caught his attention. The man looked around, then started patting his pockets. His eyes widened in panic. The alien girl could see his frustration growing. He was looking for something, his wallet. She saw his hand reach for his back pocket, but it wasn't there. He checked his other pockets, his face turning pale with worry. The man stood still for a moment, frozen in place, before turning back to retrace his steps. The alien girl stood up quietly, her heart racing. She had seen something important. She hadn't meant to, but she had. The man had lost his wallet, and it was clear that he didn't know it yet. He was desperate to find it, and in his desperation, he was unaware of everything else around him. The alien girl could see that he was a diplomat, someone important, someone who was used to control, used to power. But now in this moment he was vulnerable. He was just another man lost in the streets of the city, just like her. As the man hurried back down the street looking for his wallet, the alien girl decided to follow. She wasn't sure why. Maybe it was because she had been wandering for so long. Or maybe it was because something told her that this man needed her. She wasn't sure if she was doing it for him or for herself. But there was a sense of destiny, a feeling that this was the moment she had been waiting for. She followed him through the busy streets, staying hidden in the shadows, careful not to get too close. She watched as he stopped at every corner, asking people if they had seen his wallet. People ignored him, too busy with their own lives to care. The alien girl felt a pang of sympathy for him. She knew what it felt like to be invisible, to be ignored, to be lost in the crowd. Finally, after several minutes of searching, the diplomat stopped in front of a small shop. He looked frustrated, his face tense as if he was about to give up. The alien girl saw her chance. She walked up behind him, slowly, carefully. He didn't notice her until she was right beside him. Without saying a word, she held out his wallet. The diplomat turned, shocked, his eyes wide. For a moment, he didn't say anything. He just stared at her. The woman who had been invisible, who had been walking the streets unnoticed, had returned his lost wallet. Her act was simple, but it was enough to leave him speechless. The air felt different now. It was as if something had shifted, something had changed. The alien girl wasn't just a stranger anymore. She had done something good, something that would make the diplomat's day and maybe even his life different. As he took the wallet from her hands, their eyes met, and for the first time, the alien girl felt seen, but she had no idea what was about to happen next. The diplomat's identity, as the alien girl handed over the lost wallet. The diplomat stood still, momentarily stunned. The world seemed to freeze around them as their eyes met. For a fleeting second, it was as though time itself had paused. The girl, so out of place in this crowded, bustling city, had done something that not even the most polished of businessmen would have dared. She had returned something that wasn't hers. And in doing so, she had exposed a part of him that no one, not even his closest allies, knew. The diplomat's face, which had been a mask of concern only moments before, shifted now into an expression of confusion. There was something about her that intrigued him. She wasn't like anyone he had met before. Her appearance, her mannerisms, the way she moved like a shadow through the city. She had an otherworldly quality, something that couldn't be explained. Yet she had just performed an act of kindness that was so simple, yet so profound, that it made him question everything he thought he knew about the world. "Thank you," the diplomat muttered, his voice quiet but sincere. He looked down at the wallet, then back at her. He wanted to say more, ask her questions, but the words caught in his throat. Something about her presence stirred a curiosity he hadn't felt in years. He had dealt with countless diplomats, politicians, and world leaders, but none of them had made him feel like this. None of them had the effect of this mysterious stranger. The diplomat, whose name was Elias Renard, was a man of power and influence. As a diplomat, he was well versed in the art of negotiation, in moving between worlds of power and politics, with a calm demeanor that made him seem untouchable. He was known for his razor-sharp intellect, his calculated moves, and his ability to sway even the most difficult situations in his favor. But in this moment, facing the alien girl, Elias felt like an ordinary man, just a man caught in an extraordinary situation. It was not just the wallet that had him confused. It was her. Her strange yet calm energy seemed to call out to him in a way he couldn't explain. The city, with all its noise and chaos, seemed to fade into the background as he studied her. She didn't look like a typical street dweller, someone begging for help, or someone who might be involved in the city's underworld. There was an air of mystery about her, something intangible. But it wasn't just her appearance that stood out. It was her demeanor, her quiet confidence, the way she seemed to understand something he didn't. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a business card, his fingers trembling slightly. "I don't know what you're doing here," he said, his voice gaining strength. "But if you need help..." The alien girl held up her hand, stopping him. "I don't need your help," she said softly. Her voice was calm, but there was an edge to it, something deeper, something hidden. "I only wanted to return what you lost." Elias blinked in surprise. She didn't want help. The girl had just returned a diplomat's wallet, something that could have been worth a fortune, and yet she didn't want anything in return. That didn't make sense. He had seen people do things for self-interest before, but this girl wasn't like them. She was different. The moment dragged on, both of them standing there in silence until Elias spoke again. "You're not from around here, are you?" he asked, his voice steady but full of curiosity. The alien girl tilted her head slightly, her eyes narrowing as she looked at him. She had been caught off guard by the question. For a moment she thought about running away, disappearing into the crowd like she always did. But there was something about this man, something that felt strangely familiar. Perhaps it was the way he had accepted her presence without question. Or maybe it was because of the brief moment of understanding they had shared when their eyes met. "I'm just like everyone else," she replied, her voice soft. "I don't belong here, but I don't belong anywhere." Elias felt a pang of empathy for her, though he didn't know why. In all his years of working with world leaders and diplomats, he had never met anyone like her. She was an enigma, a puzzle that his trained mind couldn't quite solve. He couldn't understand why she would wander the streets, return a lost wallet, and then refuse to accept anything in return. It was as though she had no interest in material wealth, no desire for power. It was as if the act itself, returning the wallet, was enough for her. For a brief moment, Elias wondered if she had somehow sensed his own loneliness, his own doubts. His life, while full of political victories and success, often left him feeling empty. He had power, yes, but he lacked something deeper, a sense of purpose, of connection. And here, in this strange, fleeting moment, he felt like he had met someone who understood that. "You know," he began, his voice more thoughtful now, I've spent my whole life working with powerful people, but no one has ever done something like what you just did. No one has ever shown me this kind of kindness. No one has ever been so selfless." The alien girl looked up at him, a faint, knowing smile tugging at the corners of her lips. "Maybe the world needs more people who aren't afraid to show kindness," she said softly. Elias stared at her for a long time, the words settling deep in his mind. He had always believed in the power of strength, of negotiation, of winning at all costs. But here in front of him was a person who had shown him something far more powerful. And for the first time in years, Elias felt like he was standing on the edge of something far greater than himself. The alien girl turned and began to walk away, blending into the crowd as if she had never been there at all. But Elias knew that he would never forget this encounter. Something about her had touched him, and he couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of a much bigger story, a story that would change both of their lives forever. The unexpected encounter as the alien girl walked away, her steps light and unhurried, a strange, unspoken tension seemed to hang in the air. Elias stood frozen, staring after her, his mind racing. Who was she? Why had she returned his wallet? And why did it feel like something far bigger was at play? Something beyond this simple yet profound encounter. He couldn't shake the feeling that their meeting wasn't a coincidence. He had seen many people in his life, but never anyone like her. She wasn't just another passerby in the crowded streets. There was an aura about her, something he couldn't quite place. Her eyes, her calmness, the way she moved through the world as though it was her stage, all of it seemed to speak of something far greater. The fact that she had appeared out of nowhere at exactly the right moment only made him more curious. As if the universe itself was tugging at his conscience, Elias found himself stepping forward, calling out to her. "Wait," he said, his voice loud enough to carry over the noise of the busy street. His words seemed to cut through the rush of life around them, a strange force drawing them together. The alien girl stopped, her back still turned to him. For a moment the world seemed to hold its breath. The streets were alive with the typical bustle of the city, people moving in all directions, lost in their own lives. Yet in this moment everything seemed to fade into the background. Elias watched her turn slowly, deliberately. There was a faint flicker of hesitation in her eyes, but it was gone as quickly as it had appeared. I don't know what to say," Elias began, suddenly unsure of himself. "But I feel like there's something important happening here. Something more than just a lost wallet being returned. I don't know what it is, but I can't just let this go." The alien girl tilted her head slightly, studying him. Her expression remained unreadable, but there was a flicker of recognition in her eyes, as if she too understood the weight of this moment. "You want to know who I am, don't you?" she asked, her voice soft but carrying a strange depth to it. Elias nodded, unable to mask his curiosity. "Yes," he said. "You're not from here, are you? You're different. You don't belong in this world, at least not like the rest of us. So who are you?" For the first time the alien girl smiled, a subtle, almost secretive smile. It wasn't a smile of joy or amusement, but of quiet understanding, as though she knew exactly what was going through his mind. "I'm not like you," she said quietly. "I don't belong here. But I didn't come to this world to be seen. I came here to learn." Her words hung in the air, heavy with mystery. Elias was about to ask more when the girl's expression shifted. A sudden awareness seemed to pass through her, as if she had just realized something that wasn't right. Her gaze flicked around the street, quickly scanning the crowd, her eyes sharp and alert. She tensed like an animal sensing danger nearby. Elias noticed the change in her demeanor instantly. "What's wrong?" he asked, stepping closer. The alien girl didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked down the street, her eyes narrowing. There, amidst the crowd, she spotted a pair of men, two figures moving toward them, not with the casual stride of pedestrians, but with purpose. They were dressed in dark suits, their eyes locked onto her, as if they knew exactly who she was. Their eyes didn't move away. They were focused, determined, and they were getting closer. Elias felt a chill run down his spine. "Who are they?" he asked, his voice low and urgent. The alien girl's eyes darted back to him, her face now serious. "They're after me," she said, her voice tense. "They've been tracking me for weeks. They're part of a group that's hunting me down. I have to leave." Before Elias could respond, she turned quickly, slipping through the crowd with the grace of someone who knew how to vanish into the shadows. Elias, too stunned to think, followed her, his mind racing. What had just happened? Who were those men and why were they after her? The alien girl moved through the crowd like a shadow, effortlessly weaving between people, disappearing into the maze of the city's streets. Elias struggled to keep up. He wasn't sure what he was doing anymore. He just knew he couldn't let her go without understanding more. Something told him that if he let her slip away now, he would never get another chance to uncover the truth. They turned down narrow alleyways and the noise of the city seemed to fade behind them. The streets grew quieter, darker, the atmosphere thick with tension. It was as if they had entered another world, one that was hidden right beneath the surface of the everyday city life. Elias was breathless now, his footsteps echoing against the cold stone walls of the alley. He was close, so close to finding out who she really was, but the thought of those men still hung in the air like a looming shadow. His heart pounded in his chest as he tried to catch up with her. Finally, they reached an old, run-down building. The alien girl stopped, glancing back at Elias. Her eyes were wide with fear, but there was also something else, a quiet determination. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device, something Elias had never seen before. It glowed with a soft blue light, and as she pressed a button on it, the building's door creaked open. "This is where I have to go," she said, her voice almost a whisper. "I'll be safe here." Elias stood still for a moment, uncertain. "Are you sure you want me to come with you?" he asked. She looked at him, her eyes filled with something he couldn't quite name. "I don't want you to get involved," she said softly. "But I need you to understand. There's more going on here than you know, more than just me." Elias nodded, his curiosity outweighing his fear. "Then tell me. I need to know. I want to understand." For a moment, the alien girl hesitated, as if considering her words carefully. "I can't tell you everything right now, but you'll understand soon. Come inside and I'll show you." With that, she stepped through the door and Elias followed. The diplomat's unbelievable response, Elias stepped into the dimly lit building. His heart still racing from the chase through the alleyways. The door creaked shut behind him, cutting off the noise of the city, leaving only the sound of his own breathing. He squinted into the darkness, trying to adjust his eyes. The alien girl had led him here, into this forgotten corner of the city, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he was crossing a threshold into a world he knew nothing about. The room was stark, with only a few pieces of old furniture scattered around. A single light overhead flickered intermittently, casting strange shadows on the walls. It was a far cry from the polished halls of government buildings that Elias was used to. But there was something about it that made him feel grounded, almost like he had stepped into the heart of something real, something unvarnished. The alien girl turned to him, her face now more serious than ever. She seemed different here, less like the lost soul wandering the streets and more like someone with a purpose. Elias watched her, a mixture of curiosity and unease filling his chest. "I need to explain everything," she said, her voice quieter than before, yet still carrying that strange, calm authority. "But you need to understand that you're part of something much bigger now, Elias." Elias was taken aback by her sudden use of his name. How did she know his full name? He hadn't told her. But before he could ask, she raised her hand, stopping him. "You won't believe me at first," she continued, "but I need you to listen. You're involved because you saw something you weren't supposed to see. When you found my wallet, when you saw me, there was no going back. You're part of this now, whether you like it or not." Elias took a deep breath, trying to process her words. "I don't understand," he said, his voice strained. "What do you mean?" "I'm just a diplomat. I've had a lot of unusual encounters in my life, but this is different." "What are you talking about?" The alien girl paused, her gaze drifting to a small desk at the far end of the room, where a strange device was buzzing softly. She seemed to hesitate, choosing her words carefully, as if she was about to open a door into a world Elias wasn't prepared for. "Look at me," she said, turning her eyes back to him. "I'm not from your world. I came here for a reason and I've been hiding for a long time. I'm not like the people you know. I'm not even human." Elias took a step back, his mind scrambling to process what she had just said. The words seemed impossible, but they didn't sound like a lie. There was an honesty in her tone, something raw that made him pause. He could see the weight in her eyes, an urgency, a desperation. She wasn't just speaking out of fear. She was speaking out of necessity. "You're not human?" Elias repeated, his voice barely above a whisper. "No," she replied simply. "I'm an alien. I come from a world far beyond your planet. and I've been sent here for a purpose. I didn't choose this. I didn't choose to be in this city, in this life. But I am here now, and the people who are hunting me, they will stop at nothing to make sure I don't succeed." Elias stared at her, his mind whirling. Alien. The word echoed in his head like a drumbeat, but it didn't feel real. He had spent his life negotiating with world leaders, solving problems with words, not with anything as unbelievable as this. Yet here she was, standing before him, her words making an undeniable impression. "What do you mean, succeed?" Elias asked, his voice hoarse. The alien girl sighed, her shoulders slumping for a moment as if the weight of everything was pressing down on her. "I'm here to stop something much worse than anything you've seen in your world. There are forces, both human and otherwise, that have been manipulating the course of history for decades. They've been hiding things from your people, things you have no idea about, and they don't want anyone to find out the truth. I'm the only one who can stop them, but it won't be easy." Elias felt his heart rate pick up. He wasn't sure if he believed her, but something in his gut told him that this wasn't just some crazy story. There was a conviction in her voice, an urgency that spoke of danger and high stakes. She wasn't asking for his help. She was warning him, and somehow he knew that whatever this was, it wasn't just about her. It was about the world they both lived in. "You want me to help you?" Elias asked, his tone cautious, but the weight of the situation pressing on him like a heavy fog. "No," she replied quickly, shaking her head. "I don't want you involved." "But it's too late for that. You've already seen too much. You're a diplomat, Elias. You've met people, you've worked with powerful individuals. They have their hands in everything, don't they? Politics, military, corporations. They control everything, even what the world knows. But there are forces beyond your understanding at work, and they won't stop until they've destroyed everything I've worked for. I can't do this alone." Elias stood still, taking in her words. He had always considered himself someone who dealt with politics and power, but this was something else entirely. It was bigger than anything he had ever imagined. A part of him wanted to walk away, to tell her it was all too crazy. But the other part of him, the diplomat, the man who had spent years negotiating, reading people, understanding their fears, knew she wasn't lying. "You said they've been hunting you," Elias said, his voice calmer now, trying to piece it all together. "Who are they? What do they want with you?" The alien girl's eyes grew darker, more intense. "They want to control me, to use me. I'm the key to stopping a secret project they've been working on for years. A project that, if completed, could change the world in ways you can't even imagine. But it's not just about the project. It's about power. It always is." Elias took a slow breath, feeling the gravity of the situation settle on his shoulders. For a moment, he felt like the walls were closing in around him. This wasn't just a lost wallet. This wasn't just some chance encounter. This was something that could shape the future of humanity, and he was caught in the middle of it. "What do you need from me?" he asked, finally understanding that he had no choice but to be involved. The alien girl's eyes softened, just for a moment. "I need you to trust me," she said quietly, "and I need you to help me keep the people who are hunting me at bay. I can't do it alone." Elias didn't know what he was walking into, but he knew one thing for sure. His life and the world he thought he understood was about to change forever. The hidden connection. The silence in the room was heavy, pressing in on Elias. He stood there, processing what the alien girl had just revealed to him. It felt like his entire world had shifted in the span of a few minutes. The people he had known, the diplomats, the leaders, the men and women who shaped the world, were not the ones pulling the strings. There was something far darker, far more powerful at work. The alien girl, whose name he still didn't know, stood across from him, her posture tense. She seemed to be waiting for him to process it all, to come to terms with what she had just told him. But Elias wasn't sure he could. The information she had given him was too vast, too overwhelming. He had spent his career dealing with secrets, but this was something beyond anything he had ever imagined. "So let me get this straight," Elias said, trying to sound calm, though his voice betrayed the confusion swirling inside him. "You're saying there are powerful people, maybe even entire organizations, that have been hiding things from humanity? And you're the only one who can stop them?" The alien girl nodded, her eyes unwavering, as if she had been waiting for him to catch up. "Yes," she replied, her voice steady. "The project they're working on isn't just about power. It's about control. They want to create a world where no one has any real choice, where everything is manipulated to serve their needs. It's not just a matter of politics or military power. They want to control the very fabric of reality itself. Elias frowned. Control reality? What does that even mean? She took a deep breath as if choosing her words carefully. I can't tell you everything yet, but imagine a world where information isn't just controlled, it's fabricated. A world where every decision you make, every thought you have is influenced by something you can't see. They've already started, Elias. They've been manipulating the flow of information for years, altering history, shaping what people believe, all to suit their agenda. Elias shook his head. This is insane. You're telling me there are forces out there manipulating the course of human history, and you're the only one who can stop it? The alien girl's eyes darkened, the weight of what she was saying settling heavily between them. Yes, I've been sent here to stop them. I don't know how they found me, but they've been tracking me for months. They know what I'm capable of, and they won't stop until they have me under their control. Elias felt a chill run through him. He had seen his fair share of powerful people, some good, some corrupt, but this was something entirely different. The idea of controlling reality itself, of shaping history to fit a certain agenda, felt like something out of a dystopian novel. But she wasn't speaking in metaphors or riddles. She was speaking with conviction, with a sense of urgency that Elias couldn't ignore. So what happens now? Elias asked, his voice quieter. He knew he was involved now, whether he wanted to be or not. His life had just been thrust into something far larger than a lost wallet or a simple act of kindness. This was something global, something that could affect millions, even billions of people. The alien girl looked at him intently, her gaze piercing. Now we run, she said, her voice almost a whisper. I can't stay in one place for long. If they find me, they'll take everything. They'll use me for their own purposes, and once they do, there's no stopping them. I don't have much time. Elias opened his mouth to ask more questions, but she raised her hand, silencing him. Before you ask, she continued. Yes, there are others like me, but they're not in a position to help right now. And yes, some of them are in danger too. But you need to understand, this isn't just about me. It's about the world, the future of your people. If I don't stop them, it will be too late. I've been hiding here trying to figure out how to stop this, but I'm running out of time. The weight of her words hung heavily in the air. Elias could feel the gravity of the situation pulling him deeper into this mess. He had been caught up in many political crises before, but none had ever felt like this. None had ever been so personal. The alien girl wasn't just a stranger to him. She wasn't just some otherworldly being. She was someone who had been sent to this planet to protect it, to protect its future. And now her life, and the future of everything Elias had ever known, was in his hands. You said there's a connection, Elias said, his voice steadying as he tried to make sense of it all. A connection between you and these people who are hunting you. What is it? The alien girl hesitated, her face growing darker as she thought about how to answer. The connection goes back a long time, she said slowly. I was part of a group that tried to stop this project before. We failed, and I was the only one left. The ones who are hunting me. They know about my past, about what I can do, and they'll do anything to use me to finish what they started. Elias felt a knot form in his stomach. What exactly can you do? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she turned toward the device on the desk, her fingers brushing over it in a way that seemed almost reverent. I can stop them, she said finally, her voice low but full of conviction. But I need more than just hiding. I need to find the truth, and I need someone to help me get it. Elias stepped closer, the uncertainty in his chest now mixing with something else, something dangerous, something that told him this wasn't just a chance meeting. This was destiny. He had a part to play, even if he didn't fully understand what that was yet. What do we do now? He asked, his voice quiet but determined. The alien girl's eyes met his. Now we start fighting back. We find the truth and we make sure they never get what they want. We don't have much time, Elias, but I'm not alone anymore, and neither are you. In that moment, Elias realized something crucial. His life, his role in the world had just been changed in ways he couldn't have predicted. And the battle that was about to unfold would be unlike anything he had ever faced. But there was no turning back now. A dangerous alliance. The quiet hum of the room seemed to intensify as Elias stood beside the alien girl, the weight of their conversation pressing down on him. Everything about this moment felt surreal. The strange building, the dim lights, and most of all, the truth he was now a part of. What had begun as a simple lost wallet had grown into something he couldn't even begin to comprehend. He had always been a man of reason, a diplomat who solved problems with words and strategy, but this was a battle of an entirely different kind, a battle against forces beyond his control, against forces that not only threatened his world but the very fabric of reality itself. The alien girl turned to him, her face serious, eyes shadowed with a mixture of determination and weariness. It was clear that she had been running from something far larger and more dangerous than the pursuit of a single person. She was running from a shadow that had been cast over her entire existence, a shadow that now loomed over both of them. "We don't have much time," she said, her voice low but firm. "The people I'm hiding from, they're closing in. They'll find us if we stay here too long." Elias nodded, feeling the urgency in her words. He had never been a man who panicked under pressure. In his line of work, he had seen it all: political crises, international tensions, and corporate intrigue. But this was something different. This wasn't just politics or power struggles. This was life or death, and he could feel it in every fiber of his being. There was no room for hesitation, no time to second-guess himself. He was already involved. Whether he liked it or not, he was in this battle now. "What do we do?" Elias asked, his voice steady despite the rush of thoughts flooding his mind. The alien girl didn't hesitate. "We need to leave. They've already found the location where I'm hiding, and they'll be coming for me soon. We have to move quickly through the city, and then into the outskirts. Once we're out of the city, we'll be harder to track." Elias felt his chest tighten. "You're not just running from them. You're running towards something, aren't you?" The alien girl's eyes flashed, a brief flicker of something ancient and knowing. "Yes," she said. "I'm running toward the truth that they've been trying to bury for so long. But I can't do it alone anymore. That's why I need you. You're the only one who has the connections and knowledge to help me get there." Elias paused, processing her words. She needed him. A diplomat, someone who had spent his career navigating the complexities of global politics, was now being asked to help an alien from another world uncover a truth that could change everything. His mind was racing. The stakes were higher than he could have ever imagined, and he wasn't sure he was ready for the kind of fight they were about to face. "What's this truth?" he asked, his voice quieter now, as if afraid of the answer. The alien girl hesitated. "It's about a project they've been working on for years. The ones who are hunting me, they're the architects of this project. They've been manipulating global events, controlling the flow of information, and hiding the truth from your people. The project is much bigger than you can imagine. If it succeeds, it will change the course of history, and not in a way that will benefit humanity." Elias felt a chill run down his spine. What kind of project could do that? How could one group of people have that much power? She met his gaze with an intensity that made his stomach turn. They have the ability to manipulate the very essence of reality, to rewrite history, to shape public perception, to control what people believe. They can make people forget the truth and create new truths in its place. If they succeed, no one will ever know what's real anymore. The weight of her words hung in the air like a storm cloud, thick with the knowledge of what was at stake. Elias had worked with powerful people all his life. World leaders, military commanders, businessmen who held the keys to entire nations. But none of them had ever controlled something like this. None of them had the power to shape reality itself. "We have to stop them," Elias said, his voice firm now, the resolve in his words making it clear that he was in this for the long haul. "But how? How do we even begin to fight something like that?" The alien girl smiled faintly, as if she had been waiting for him to finally understand. "You've already helped more than you know, Elias. By choosing to trust me, by listening, you've already stepped into a war you didn't know existed. But you have something they don't. You have access. You have the ability to move between the worlds they can't control, the political world, the media world, the business world. They think they have all the power, but they've underestimated what's in your hands. Together we can expose them. We can show the world the truth." Elias thought about her words, considering the path ahead. It was risky. No, it was beyond risky. This was an all-out war against forces that had been shaping the world for years, maybe even centuries. He knew he wasn't ready for what was coming. But then again, who was? "Where do we start?" Elias asked, his voice steady, despite the rush of uncertainty swirling inside him. The alien girl's eyes softened slightly, a rare moment of vulnerability breaking through the hardened exterior. We start by finding the pieces they've hidden, the documents, the evidence, anything that can show the world what they've done. We'll need to be smart, Elias. They have eyes everywhere. But I have a few contacts, and you have your network. Together we can find what they've been hiding. Elias nodded, his mind now fully focused on the task ahead. This wasn't just about him anymore. It wasn't just about the alien girl or the lost wallet. It was about the future of humanity, about the very foundation of what people believed to be true. We move fast, Elias said, his tone decisive. No more running. No more hiding. Let's take the fight to them. The alien girl gave him a small nod. Agreed. But be ready, Elias, the hardest part is yet to come. And with that, the two of them stepped into the unknown. The city that had seemed so familiar now felt like a battleground, a place where they would have to outsmart those who controlled the world's narratives. Their alliance was dangerous, their mission uncertain, but Elias knew one thing. They were in this together. And together they would uncover the truth.